There's something haunting about the silence of an ancient temple, the way the air hums with secrets, the way every shadow seems to whisper a story waiting to be uncovered. Picture this: you're walking through a sacred space built thousands of years ago, your fingers brushing against walls carved by hands long turned to dust. Then, beneath your feet, you sense it, a hollow echo, a hidden chamber untouched by time. These spaces aren't just architectural quirks. They're enigmas that have defied explanation for centuries, leaving even the brightest minds of our era scratching their heads. Why do these subterranean sanctuaries exist? And why, despite all our technology and knowledge, do their mysteries remain stubbornly out of reach? From the depths of Egypt's Great Pyramid to the concealed crypts beneath India's most revered temples, these hidden chambers share an eerie commonality. They were built with precision that rivals modern engineering, yet their true purpose has been lost to history. Some were sealed so deliberately, so meticulously, that opening them required feats of ingenuity or sheer force. Others were designed to remain forever inaccessible, their entrances concealed behind layers of stone and symbolism. What were the builders trying to protect or hide? Was it treasure, sacred knowledge, or something far more profound? The answers, if they exist at all, lie buried in the dark, waiting for someone to piece together the puzzle. This isn't just a story about hidden rooms. It's a story about human ingenuity, about the lengths our ancestors went to preserve their secrets. It's about the gaps in our understanding of ancient civilizations, gaps that these chambers seem to taunt us with. As we journey through these forbidden spaces, we'll uncover the theories that have left scientists divided, the discoveries that have rewritten history, and the questions that still keep archaeologists awake at night. So step carefully, because what lies beneath these temples might just change everything we thought we knew. There's a primal thrill in discovering the unknown, a whisper of curiosity that pulls us toward secrets buried in stone. Hidden chambers beneath temples aren't just empty rooms. They're time capsules deliberately sealed away by people who believed their contents were too powerful or too sacred to be left unguarded. Think of the way a locked diary tantalizes, or how a sealed letter from the past feels heavier in your hands. These spaces play on that same instinct, teasing us with the possibility of revelations that could rewrite history. Ancient cultures didn't hide these chambers on a whim. The precision of their construction tells us they were meant to last, their locations encoded in myth, architecture, or even celestial alignments. Take the Temple of Hathor in Egypt, where hidden passages snake beneath the floors, their walls covered in symbols that still baffle linguists. Or consider the subterranean labyrinth beneath Cambodia's Angkor Wat, a maze so intricate that modern laser scans have only begun to map its true scale. These weren't storage closets, they were designed with intention, layered with meaning we've yet to fully decipher. What's even more fascinating is how these chambers defy modern technology. We've sent probes to Mars and decoded the human genome, yet some temple secrets remain stubbornly out of reach. In 2012, researchers used cosmic ray imaging to detect a hidden void in the Great Pyramid, a space large enough to hold a cathedral, yet completely inaccessible without damaging the structure. It's as if the builders anticipated our tools and engineered their defenses accordingly. Were they protecting relics, guarding knowledge deemed too dangerous for future generations? Or were these chambers meant to serve a purpose we can't even comprehend, something beyond the boundaries of our current understanding? The allure isn't just in what might be hidden. It's in the realization that ancient civilizations possessed sophistication we're only beginning to appreciate. Their ability to conceal these spaces so perfectly, to embed clues in plain sight, suggests a mastery of both engineering and symbolism that rivals our own. Every time a new chamber is discovered, or worse, teased by technology but left just out of reach, it's a humbling reminder. The past still holds cards it hasn't played. And that mystery, more than any treasure, is what keeps us digging. Temples weren't just places of worship. They were the vaults of the ancient world, safeguarding truths too potent to be left unguarded. Picture the Oracle of Delphi, where priestesses descended into hidden chambers beneath the temple, breathing in fumes that supposedly opened gateways to divine prophecy. Or consider the Mayan pyramids, their inner labyrinth sealed off with such precision that even today, archaeologists uncover new passages by accident, their original purpose still debated. These spaces weren't afterthoughts. They were the heart of the temple's power, reserved for those deemed worthy of its secrets. What's striking is how universally this practice appears across cultures. In Egypt, the Temple of Edfu hides a network of underground rooms inscribed with texts so sacred they were never meant for public eyes. Meanwhile, beneath Jerusalem's Temple Mount, tunnels twist like veins, their walls whispering of rituals lost to time. This wasn't mere coincidence. Ancient societies shared a belief that knowledge, especially the kind tied to the divine, carried immense responsibility. Revealing it too freely could disrupt the natural order, or worse, fall into the wrong hands. So they built layers of protection, physical barriers, cryptic symbols, even traps designed to deter intruders centuries later. Yet the most fascinating aspect isn't just the secrecy, it's the sophistication behind it. Take the initiation rites of Eleusis in ancient Greece, where candidates entered subterranean chambers to experience mysteries so profound that revealing them was punishable by death. The rooms themselves were engineered to manipulate sound and light, creating sensory illusions that deepened the experience. This wasn't crude concealment. It was psychological architecture meant to awe and intimidate. Similarly, in India's Padmanabhaswamy temple, hidden vaults sealed with elaborate curses and mechanical locks held treasures so vast their discovery sparked legal battles. The builders didn't just hide wealth, they embedded warnings, as if the contents demanded reverence even in absence. Modern technology should make these secrets easy to uncover, but the opposite often proves true. Ground-penetrating radar reveals voids we can't access, while ancient mechanisms like the rotating stone doors of some Egyptian crypts still function flawlessly after millennia. It's as if these chambers were designed to outsmart future curiosity, their defenses evolving beyond mere stone and mortar. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden beneath these temples. Some truths weren't meant to be excavated, only earned. And that silent challenge echoing through the ages is what keeps us searching. The Great Pyramid of Giza has stood for millennia as a monument to human ambition, its towering presence a testament to the ingenuity of an ancient world. Yet in 2017, this iconic structure revealed one of its most baffling secrets, a hidden void, stretching nearly 100 feet long, lurking silently above the Grand Gallery. Discovered using cutting-edge cosmic ray imaging, this empty space defies simple explanation. Its dimensions are too precise, its alignment too deliberate to dismiss as mere architectural happenstance. If it was just a structural quirk, why go to such lengths to conceal it? And if it served a sacred purpose, why leave no trace of its function for future generations to decipher? What makes this void so tantalizing isn't just its existence, it's the way it mocks our modern arrogance. Here we are, armed with particle physics and supercomputers, yet a 4,000-year-old stone puzzle still leaves us grasping for answers. The void's location, perfectly aligned with the pyramid's central axis, suggests it was anything but an accident. Some researchers argue it could have relieved weight from the grand gallery below, a stroke of engineering genius. Others whisper of lost burial chambers untouched by robbers, or even repositories of knowledge deliberately walled away. Then there are those who point to the pyramid's celestial alignments, wondering if this hidden space played a role in rituals tied to the stars, a bridge between earth and heavens now severed by time. The most frustrating part, we may never know for sure. Unlike other hidden chambers, this void offers no accessible entrance, no tantalizing crack in the stone to exploit. Modern ethics forbid drilling into the pyramid's core, leaving scientists to rely on scans and speculation. It's as if the builders anticipated our curiosity and engineered the perfect defense, a secret locked not by bolts, but by the sheer impossibility of reaching it without desecration. This isn't just a physical barrier, it's a philosophical one. How far should we go to uncover the past, and what might we destroy in the process? Perhaps the void's greatest lesson is humility. For all our technology, we're still outsiders knocking at the door of an ancient world that refuses to yield its secrets easily. Every scan, every theory only deepens the mystery. And that's the magic of it, not the answers we've found, but the questions that keep us coming back century after century to stand in the shadow of the pyramid and wonder what else lies hidden in the dark. Beneath the golden sands of Egypt, just south of the Hawara Pyramid, lies one of history's most tantalizing riddles, a subterranean labyrinth so vast, even the ancient Greeks spoke of it with awe. Herodotus, the famed historian, claimed it held 3,000 rooms, its winding passages so bewildering that no explorer could navigate them without guidance. Today, only fragments of this monumental structure have been uncovered, leaving the rest swallowed by the earth. What drove the ancient Egyptians to carve such an intricate maze beneath the desert? And what secrets might still linger in its uncharted depths? The scale alone is staggering. Early excavations revealed corridors lined with polished limestone, their walls etched with hieroglyphs that hint at rituals lost to time. Some chambers appear to align with celestial events, suggesting the labyrinth wasn't just a storage complex but a sacred space, perhaps designed to mirror the cosmos itself. Then there's the engineering doorways carved to slide shut with hidden counterweights, drainage systems so advanced they still function after millennia. This wasn't haphazard construction, it was a masterclass in precision meant to endure. Yet the most haunting question isn't how it was built, but why. Unlike the pyramids, which proclaimed their purpose to the heavens, the labyrinth was hidden, as if its creators wanted its truths to remain veiled. Some theorize it housed the sacred texts of Thoth, the god of wisdom, while others believe it served as a final resting place for rituals too potent to be performed above ground. Then there's the unsettling possibility that much of the labyrinth remains intact, its heart still sealed, waiting. Modern technology has only deepened the mystery. Ground-penetrating radar reveals voids stretching far beyond the excavated sections, hinting at chambers untouched for thousands of years, but the desert guards its secrets fiercely. Shifting sands and fragile structures make further exploration risky, leaving us to wonder, did the ancients bury this labyrinth not just to protect it, but to ensure only the worthy would ever find its center? The answer, like the maze itself, remains just out of reach. Angkor Wat rises from the Cambodian jungle like a sandstone mirage, its 5 iconic towers reflected in the surrounding moat, a vision frozen in time. But beneath this architectural wonder lies a mystery that has eluded even the most determined explorers. Ground-penetrating radar scans have revealed hollow spaces snaking beneath the central tower, their purpose as enigmatic as the temple's celestial alignments. Local lore speaks of forbidden chambers where priests once performed rituals so potent they were hidden even from the king. Could these sealed voids hold sacred relics, forgotten scriptures, or something more extraordinary, like traces of the advanced engineering that allowed this colossal structure to defy earthquakes for nearly 1,000 years? The clues are etched into the temple itself. Angkor Wat's design mirrors the Hindu cosmos, with its towers representing Mount Meru, the axis of the spiritual world. Yet some passages deviate from this sacred blueprint, their layouts deliberately obscured. Narrow staircases dead end abruptly, while hidden alcoves suggest spaces meant to be accessed only in secret. Even more intriguing are the temple's hydraulic systems, a network of canals and reservoirs so precise, modern engineers struggle to replicate their efficiency. Were these innovations purely practical, or could the hidden chambers beneath the central tower have housed the knowledge behind them? Legends add another layer to the puzzle. Cambodian oral traditions describe a golden age when the temple's builders wielded technology indistinguishable from magic, levitating stones, healing energies, even devices that could see through time. While these tales may be embellished, they align with curious anomalies. Certain carvings depict what look like advanced machinery, while others show figures holding objects resembling crystalline power sources. Could the hidden chambers have safeguarded artifacts from this lost era? The reluctance to excavate only fuels the speculation. Some fear structural collapse, others whisper of curses protecting the temple's heart. Technology has brought us closer than ever to answers, yet Angkor Wat resists. Recent LiDAR scans confirmed the voids but revealed no clear entry points, as if the builders designed them to be detected but not breached. It's a recurring theme with these ancient sites. They tease us with glimpses of their secrets, then withdraw behind layers of stone and symbolism. Perhaps that's the true purpose of these hidden chambers, not just to conceal but to challenge. To remind us that some mysteries aren't meant to surrender to the impatient grasp of modern hands, but to reveal themselves only when we're ready to understand. Some doors are meant to stay closed. That's the unspoken rule echoing through the corridors of India's Padmanabhaswamy temple, where one chamber, known simply as Chamber B, has defied every attempt to reveal its secrets. Unlike other hidden vaults, this one isn't sealed by forgotten engineering or lost to time. It's guarded by something far more potent, a web of ancient oaths, legal battles, and spine-chilling accounts of supernatural interference. The temple itself is a masterpiece of Dravidian architecture, its gopurams towering over Kerala like a crown of stone. But beneath its gold-plated pillars and intricate carvings lies a mystery that even modern courts hesitate to unravel. What makes Chamber B so different? For starters, it's the only one of the temple's 6 vaults that remains unopened. Despite the others yielding treasures beyond imagination, gold statues taller than a man, sacks of diamonds and emeralds, artifacts so valuable their worth is considered incalculable. Yet Chamber B's entrance, reinforced with iron doors and adorned with serpents carved in warning, has resisted all scrutiny. Legend claims it's protected by a curse, that disturbing its contents will unleash calamity. And the few who have tried to dismiss that warning have faced eerie consequences. Workers report hearing the slither of scales in empty corridors, while others swear the chamber's massive doors grow warm to the touch when approached without proper rites. Even technology falters here. Attempts to scan the chamber's interior yield garbled images, as if something inside refuses to be seen. The legal stalemate only deepens the enigma. In 2011, India's Supreme Court ordered an inventory of the temple's vaults, but Chamber B was explicitly excluded. The reason? A centuries-old decree by the temple's royal guardians, warning that the chamber must never be opened without performing precise, now forgotten rituals. Some scholars argue the vault holds sacred texts or relics tied to the god Vishnu, whose reclining form dominates the temple's inner sanctum. Others whisper of a more unsettling possibility, that the chamber isn't a treasury at all, but a prison, a place where something was sealed away for good reason. Perhaps the most fascinating detail is how the temple's design seems to echo these warnings. The corridor leading to Chamber B is lined with carvings of Nagas, serpentine deities who serve as both protectors and enforcers of divine will. The air here is thick with the scent of camphor and old metal, a sensory reminder that this isn't just a locked door. It's a boundary, and boundaries in sacred spaces exist for a reason. For now, Chamber B remains a riddle wrapped in gold and fear, its silence louder than any discovery. It challenges not just our curiosity, but our respect for the past's unanswered questions. Some secrets, it seems, aren't meant to be uncovered, only honored. Beneath the towering pyramids of Teotihuacan, where the Avenue of the Dead stretches like a spine through the ancient city, lies a labyrinth that defies logic. In 2015, archaeologists uncovered a series of tunnels snaking beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, their walls shimmering with an eerie, silver liquid, mercury. This wasn't just a hidden passage, it was a deliberate, dangerous marvel, a submerged world where every step could have been deadly. Why would a civilization without modern chemistry go to such extremes to line tunnels with a toxic substance? And what rituals or warnings were they trying to preserve in these forbidden depths? The mercury alone is a puzzle. Extracting it from cinnabar ore would have required immense effort, yet the tunnels contain enough to form reflective pools, their surface rippling like distorted mirrors. Some researchers believe it symbolized the underworld's rivers, a physical manifestation of the boundary between the living and the dead. Others point to its practical use. Mercury's unnatural glow under torchlight would have transformed these tunnels into surreal, otherworldly spaces, heightening the psychological impact of ceremonies held there. But there's a darker theory. Mercury poisoning causes tremors, hallucinations, even madness effects that might have been interpreted as divine communion or possession. Were these tunnels designed to alter consciousness, to force participants into a state where the spiritual realm felt within reach? The artifacts found within only deepen the mystery. Miniature mountains of jade, obsidian blades arranged in celestial patterns, even remnants of exotic birds from hundreds of miles away. Each object seems meticulously placed, as if part of a grand symbolic code. Then there's the tunnel's layout itself. It doesn't meander, it plunges straight toward a central chamber, 30 feet below the pyramid's base, where a trove of uncarved stone orbs was discovered. These spheres, perfectly smooth and identical in size, have no obvious purpose. Were they offerings, tools for some lost ritual, or markers guiding initiates through a spiritual journey we can only guess at? What's most unsettling is how little we truly understand. Teotihuacan's builders left no written records, and the city was abandoned centuries before the Aztecs arrived, leaving behind only whispers of its original name. The tunnels feel like a message in a bottle, one we're still struggling to uncork. Modern excavations proceed with caution, not just because of the mercury's toxicity, but because each discovery seems to raise more questions than answers. Perhaps that's the point. These hidden passageways weren't meant to be solved. They were meant to awe, to humble, to remind us that some secrets are buried not just in earth, but in time itself. Deep beneath the sun-baked streets of Malta lies a place where sound doesn't just travel, it transforms. The Hypogeum of Hal Saflini, a labyrinth carved from solid limestone over 5,000 years ago, isn't just an archaeological wonder. It's an acoustic enigma. Step into its lowest chamber, known as the Oracle Room, and whisper a word against the wall. What comes back isn't an echo, it's a resonance so deep, so hauntingly amplified, it feels less like physics and more like magic. How did a Neolithic culture, without mathematical formulas or modern tools, engineer a space where sound behaves in ways we're still struggling to explain? The precision is unnerving. Certain frequencies, particularly those in the range of the human voice, are enhanced with eerie clarity, while others dissolve into silence. Researchers have found that the chamber's curvature, its niches, even the texture of the stone, all conspire to create this effect. It's as if the entire room was tuned like an instrument, designed to vibrate in harmony with specific tones. Some theorize these properties weren't accidental but central to rituals, perhaps to induce trance states, where reverberating chants or drumbeats blurred the line between the physical and spiritual worlds. Others point to the Hypogeum's skeletal remains, suggesting the acoustics played a role in funerary rites, amplifying dirges to guide the dead. But the most unsettling detail: the Hypogeum's builders left no blueprints, no carvings explaining their intent. The only clues are the chambers themselves, their walls bearing traces of red ochre paint that once shimmered in torchlight. When modern engineers modeled the space's acoustics, they found something extraordinary. The sound waves don't just bounce, they swirl, converging at specific points where a speaker's voice would have been unnaturally magnified. Was this the ancient equivalent of a sacred microphone, projecting a priestess's words to an audience hidden in shadow? Or was it something more profound, a technology of transcendence meant to simulate the voice of the gods? Malta's hidden catacombs refuse to surrender their secrets easily. Even today, accessing the deepest chambers requires special permission, their delicate ecosystem of sound and stone threatened by modern breath and footsteps. It's a poignant reminder, some ancient wonders weren't built to withstand the weight of time, but to exist briefly, perfectly, like a single note held in the dark, waiting for the right moment to be heard. Easter Island's Moai statues stand sentinel over a landscape steeped in silence, their hollow eyes gazing across an ocean that once connected them to a world now lost. But beneath these towering figures lies a secret far older than the stones themselves, a network of hidden caves and tunnels, their walls etched with cryptic symbols known as Rongorongo. These aren't random scratches, they're the only indigenous script in Polynesia, a language so complex that not a single syllable has been definitively decoded. Why would an island so remote, so seemingly isolated, develop a writing system unlike anything else in the Pacific? And why were these tablets buried in chambers so deep, so deliberately concealed, that even local traditions speak of them in whispers? The caves themselves are part of the mystery. Some are natural lava tubes twisted by volcanic forces millennia ago, while others show signs of human modification, narrow passages widened, smooth floors leveled, niches carved with precision. Yet access is fiercely restricted, not by modern laws but by the island's own guardians. Rapa Nui elders speak of kapu, sacred prohibitions that forbid entry without proper rites. Even researchers with permits describe an almost palpable resistance, collapsing tunnels, sudden rockfalls, equipment failures that feel less like coincidence and more like warning. It's as if the island itself guards these spaces, ensuring their secrets remain bound to the past. Then there's the script. Rongorongo's glyphs swirl in lines that alternate direction like a plowed field, a writing system so unique it defies comparison. Some symbols resemble plants and animals extinct for centuries. Others echo celestial patterns, suggesting a knowledge of astronomy that shouldn't exist in a culture with no metal tools. The few tablets recovered, often under contentious circumstances, tell a fractured story. One fragment might depict a lunar calendar, while another shows what looks like a detailed genealogy of chiefs. But without a Rosetta Stone to unlock their meaning, they remain tantalizingly out of reach. What's most haunting is the timing. Rongorongo tablets appear suddenly in the archaeological record, with no evidence of gradual development. It's as if the script arrived fully formed, a gift or a curse from somewhere beyond the horizon. Coupled with the island's tragic history of collapse, the tablets feel like a message in a bottle, a last attempt to preserve a dying culture's wisdom. Yet the caves that hold them resist intrusion, their darkness a reminder. Some truths aren't meant to be read. They're meant to be felt, carried in the bones of the land and the silence of the stones. And that silence, louder than any decipherment, might be the most profound message of all. Petra's rose-red cliffs glow like embers at dawn, their surfaces carved into temples and tombs that have captivated explorers for centuries. But beyond the iconic treasury and the monastery, beneath the feet of thousands of daily visitors, whispers persist of another world, one carved not upward into sunlight, but downward into shadow. Local Bedouin guides speak of passages sealed by rockfalls, of hollow echoes underfoot when horses clatter across certain stones. Archaeologists have mapped barely half of Petra's known structures, leaving the rest, especially its subterranean secrets, shrouded in speculation. What lies hidden in these uncharted chambers, and why, in a city so meticulously documented, do these spaces remain stubbornly unexplored? The clues are as tantalizing as they are sparse. 19th century explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, the first Westerner to document Petra, wrote of subterranean apartments mentioned in local lore, chambers used for purposes now forgotten. More recently, ground-penetrating radar has detected anomalies beneath the street of facades, voids that don't align with any known cisterns or tombs. Some theories suggest these were storage vaults for the Nabateans' famed incense trade, their entrances concealed to protect priceless frankincense and myrrh. Others point to Petra's role as a spiritual hub, where initiation rites may have required hidden spaces for rituals too sacred to perform in the open. Then there's the engineering enigma. The Nabateans were masters of hydrology, channeling flash floods through intricate tunnel systems. Could their underground prowess have extended to secret chambers? Satellite imagery reveals faint linear patterns in the bedrock around Petra's outskirts, hinting at man-made structures buried by millennia of wind-blown sand. But the real mystery lies deeper. In 2016, a team using thermal scanning identified temperature fluctuations in a canyon wall near the royal tombs, a telltale sign of hollow space behind the rock. Yet funding and permits for excavation remain elusive, leaving the chamber's contents to the imagination. Perhaps most intriguing is the resistance to exploration itself. Unlike Egypt's pyramids or Cambodia's temples, Petra's hidden spaces aren't just physically inaccessible, they're culturally guarded. Bedouin traditions speak of jinn inhabiting the underworld, and even modern researchers hesitate to disturb certain areas without tribal consent. It's a reminder that some secrets aren't lost, they're kept. And in a city where every cliff face tells a story, the untold chapters beneath our feet may be the most compelling of all. Gobekli Tepe rises from the Turkish plains like a question carved in stone, a sprawling complex of massive T-shaped pillars arranged in circles, each etched with intricate animal reliefs that seem to pulse with forgotten meaning. But the true mystery doesn't just stand above ground, it lurks beneath. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of hidden chambers beneath the pillars, spaces deliberately filled in and buried by the very people who built them. This wasn't neglect, it was ritual. 12,000 years ago, long before the pyramids, before Stonehenge, before the invention of pottery or agriculture, someone went to extraordinary lengths to seal these chambers with thousands of tons of earth. What was so sacred, so dangerous, that it needed to be entombed for eternity? The scale of concealment is staggering. Imagine a society without metal tools, without beasts of burden, hauling baskets of soil and stone to bury a site that would have taken generations to construct. This wasn't just abandonment, it was a systematic act of forgetting. Some researchers believe the chambers held relics tied to shamanic rituals, objects believed to carry such potent spiritual energy that they couldn't be left exposed. Others point to the carvings: vultures, scorpions, serpents, creatures often associated with death and transition in early belief systems. Were these underground spaces portals to the underworld, sealed once their purpose was fulfilled? Then there's the eerie precision of the burial itself. The fill material wasn't random debris, it was carefully selected limestone rubble, layered like a protective shell. Whoever did this didn't just want to hide the chambers, they wanted to preserve them. What's even more unsettling is how Gobekli Tepe upends our understanding of human progress. Conventional wisdom says civilization began with farming, with permanent settlements. But here, in the shadow of these pillars, we find evidence of the opposite. A monumental sacred site built by hunter-gatherers, a place that may have inspired agriculture rather than resulted from it. The chambers beneath the pillars could hold clues to this paradox. Were they storage for wild grains, hinting at early domestication? Or did they house something more abstract, a cosmology so advanced it compelled people to gather, to build, and ultimately, to bury their creations when the beliefs that birthed them faded? Modern technology has only deepened the enigma. Ground-penetrating radar reveals voids beneath unexcavated sections, their shapes too geometric to be natural. Yet excavating them risks damaging the fragile site. It's a cruel irony. The same deliberate burial that preserved Gobekli Tepe for millennia now protects its secrets from us. The chambers whisper of a lost chapter in human history, one where the line between ritual and survival blurred, where the act of concealment was as sacred as creation. And that silence, echoing across 12,000 years, may be the most profound message of all. Some truths were never meant to be uncovered, only remembered. The Temple of Solomon stands as one of history's most tantalizing enigmas, a structure so revered. Its very absence has fueled obsession for millennia. Ancient texts like the Book of Kings and the Talmud speak of hidden vaults beneath its foundation, chambers designed not just to store sacred relics, but to shield them from the unworthy. Among these treasures, none looms larger than the Ark of the Covenant, the gilded chest said to hold the tablets of the Ten Commandments. Yet after the temple's destruction in 586 BC, the Ark and the subterranean chambers that might have housed it vanished without a trace. Could these sealed spaces still survive beneath the bustling streets of modern Jerusalem, their secrets intact despite centuries of conquest and reconstruction? The clues are as fragmented as they are compelling. Medieval Jewish scholars like Maimonides wrote of a labyrinth beneath the temple's ruins, accessible only through a secret passage known as the Gate of the Sparks. Crusader knights claim to have glimpsed golden artifacts in hidden crypts before their tunnels collapsed. Even the Knights Templar, who excavated beneath the Temple Mount in the 12th century, left cryptic accounts of vaults lined with symbols no man could read. These stories share an eerie consistency. The chambers weren't merely lost, they were protected. Some descriptions mention mechanical traps, swinging stone doors, shafts that flooded with water when disturbed. Others speak of warnings etched into the walls, curses meant to deter thieves with the promise of divine retribution. Modern technology has only deepened the mystery. Ground-penetrating radar scans of the Temple Mount reveal a honeycomb of anomalies, voids that don't align with known cisterns or sewers. One particularly large cavity, detected beneath the Al-Aqsa Mosque in 2011, matches the dimensions of Solomon's Holy of Holies, the innermost sanctuary where the Ark once rested. But exploring these spaces is fraught with challenges. The site is one of the most politically sensitive on Earth, where archaeology intersects with faith, nationalism, and diplomacy. Even the most careful excavation risks destabilizing centuries-old structures or igniting tensions between communities who revere the ground for different reasons. Perhaps the most haunting question isn't whether these chambers exist, but why they were hidden so completely. The Ark wasn't just a relic, it was a conduit between heaven and earth, an object of such power that touching it unlawfully meant death. Could the priests of Jerusalem have sealed it away not to protect it from invaders, but to protect the world from it? The tunnels beneath the temple mount whisper of a time when the divine wasn't just worshipped, it was feared. And that fear, carved into stone and buried under layers of history, might be the most enduring mystery of all. Hidden beneath the iconic steps of Chichen Itza's Kukulcan pyramid lies a secret that defies both time and expectation, a submerged chamber, its still waters reflecting the weight of centuries. Discovered in 2015 through advanced electrical imaging techniques, this watery vault isn't just an architectural anomaly, it's a riddle wrapped in limestone and myth. The chamber stretches nearly 100 feet long, its ceiling submerged under several feet of water, creating a mirror-like surface that would have shimmered eerily in the flicker of ancient torchlight. Why would the Maya, master astronomers and engineers, go to such lengths to build a space so deliberately flooded, and what might its depths conceal? The answer may lie in the sacred geography of the Maya themselves. To them, water wasn't just a resource, it was a portal. Cenotes, the natural sinkholes dotting the Yucatan Peninsula, were considered gateways to Xibalba, the underworld. The chamber's location directly beneath El Castillo, the pyramid's central axis, suggests it wasn't an accident but a carefully orchestrated symbol. Imagine priests descending into this liquid darkness during solstice rituals, the water amplifying their chants as the pyramid above cast its serpent-shaped shadow. The chamber's dimensions align eerily with descriptions in the Popol Vuh, the Maya's creation epic, which speaks of a watery underworld where gods tested the souls of the dead. Could this space have been a physical manifestation of that belief, a place where the living communed with the unseen? Yet the chamber's construction raises even more tantalizing questions. Unlike the dry, ventilated passages of Egypt's pyramids, this space was designed to hold water permanently. Its walls are lined with a waterproof plaster so effective it's kept the chamber flooded for over 1,000 years. Then there's the mystery of access. No tunnels or staircases lead to it. The only way in would have been through a vertical shaft now collapsed. Was this a practical safeguard against looters, or a spiritual boundary meant to deter the uninitiated? Modern archaeologists face a dilemma. Draining the chamber risks damaging irreplaceable artifacts, while leaving it untouched means its secrets remain suspended in time, just out of reach. The most haunting possibility isn't what the chamber hides, but what it represents, a convergence of science and spirituality so advanced it still eludes us. The Maya understood hydrology well enough to engineer elaborate reservoirs, yet they chose to leave this space submerged. They mapped the stars with precision, yet oriented this chamber toward the Earth's darkest depths. It's as if they built a puzzle not for us to solve, but to marvel at, a reminder that some truths aren't meant to be uncovered, only pondered. And so the water remains, a silent keeper of secrets, reflecting not just the stones above, but the limits of our own understanding. The Vatican's hallowed halls echo with more than just prayers. They hum with whispers of secrets buried deep beneath the marble floors. For centuries, rumors have swirled about a hidden labyrinth beneath the world's smallest sovereign state, a network of vaults said to house everything from lost gospels to artifacts of unimaginable historical weight. While the Vatican archives have slowly opened select documents to scholars, entire sections remain locked behind doors marked with papal seals. What could be so explosive, so delicate, that even in an age of transparency, these chambers stay shrouded in shadow? Consider the sheer scale of what we know exists. The Vatican's official archives stretch over 50 miles of shelving, containing millennia of correspondence, decrees, and records, yet that's just what's been catalogued. Beneath the surface, accounts from medieval chroniclers describe chambers lined with lead to block electromagnetic signals, their contents guarded by complex locking mechanisms dating back to the Renaissance. One persistent legend speaks of the Archivum Secretum Apostolicum Vaticanum, a subterranean annex rumored to hold texts deemed too dangerous for public knowledge. Among them, suppressed Gnostic gospels that challenge canonical Christian narratives, or perhaps even relics tied to Christ's crucifixion, objects so potent they could rewrite religious history. The Vatican's silence only fuels speculation. In 1983, workers renovating the Vatican Library stumbled upon a hidden passageway beneath the Cortile della Pigna. Before it could be explored, the entrance was swiftly sealed under orders from higher authorities. Then there's the infamous Alien Files incident, where a former Vatican insider claimed a vault beneath the observatory holds evidence of extraterrestrial contact, a claim the Church neither confirms nor denies. Whether these stories are fact or fantasy, they share a common thread. The Vatican doesn't just preserve knowledge, it curates it, deciding what the world is and isn't ready to know. Modern technology should make these secrets easier to uncover, but the Vatican's defenses are both physical and bureaucratic. Requests for ground-penetrating radar surveys are routinely denied, citing structural concerns. Even high-ranking cardinals require special permissions to access certain wings of the archives. Some scholars argue this isn't obstruction, it's preservation. Fragile manuscripts could crumble if exposed to air, while others might incite theological upheaval if released prematurely. But others wonder if the truth is more complex. Could these vaults hold evidence of historical events the Church would rather forget? Financial records of medieval indulgences, perhaps, or transcripts of trials too controversial to acknowledge. The most compelling clue might lie in the architecture itself. Beneath St. Peter's Basilica, excavations revealed a necropolis dating back to Roman times, a city of the dead that includes what many believe is the tomb of St. Peter. Yet adjacent tunnels, clearly man-made, branch off into darkness, their endpoints uncharted. Local lore speaks of a hidden chamber called the Aula degli Archivi Perduti, said to contain artifacts rescued from Constantinople's fall in 1453. If true, this could include lost classical texts, early Christian art, even the original papal tiara of the first bishops of Rome. But until access is granted, these remain ghosts of history, tantalizingly close yet forever out of reach. Perhaps the real mystery isn't what the Vatican hides, but why. In an era where information flows freely, the persistence of such secrecy feels anachronistic unless the stakes are higher than we imagine. Some truths, it seems, aren't just guarded to protect the past, they're kept to shape the future. And that's the enigma that lingers in the vaults beneath the Vatican. Not just what lies hidden, but the weight of the silence surrounding it, a silence as thick as the centuries-old stone that seals it away. Beneath the sun-scorched plains of Cappadocia, where wind-sculpted rock formations rise like chimneys from another world, lies an underground realm so vast it could swallow entire cities. Derinkuyu isn't just a cave or a tunnel, it's a subterranean metropolis, plunging 18 stories deep into the volcanic rock, a labyrinth of living quarters, stables, churches, and even wineries carved with astonishing precision. Built over 2,000 years ago, This hidden city could shelter up to 20,000 people for months at a time, its massive stone doors sealing out invaders with a single push. But here's what chills the bones of every explorer who descends its passages. We've only mapped half of it. The deepest levels remain untouched, their entrances deliberately collapsed or concealed, as if the builders wanted to ensure some secrets never surfaced. What kind of threat could drive an entire civilization underground? The usual suspects' invasions, religious persecution, don't fully explain Derinkuyu's scale. This wasn't a temporary hideout, it was a self-sustaining ecosystem. Ventilation shafts drilled with mathematical precision kept air fresh hundreds of feet below ground, while wells tapped into underground rivers. Granaries stored enough food to outlast sieges, and communal kitchens bore scorch marks from centuries of use. But the most haunting details are the defenses, narrow corridors that forced attackers to move single file, holes in ceilings where boiling oil could be poured, and dead-end tunnels designed to disorient. Whoever built this wasn't just hiding, they were preparing for an existential crisis, something so catastrophic it warranted carving a new world beneath the old one. Then there's the mystery of the sealed chambers. In 2014, ground-penetrating radar detected a previously unknown network of tunnels branching from the city's lowest accessible level, their walls lined with an unidentified metallic alloy. Local legends speak of a door of no return, a passage said to lead to a chamber where the city's founders stored artifacts of divine wrath. Modern archaeologists dismiss this as folklore, but the physical evidence is harder to ignore. Seismic scans reveal voids larger than cathedrals beneath Derinkuyu, their geometric shapes too precise to be natural caves. Even stranger, the rock around these spaces shows signs of extreme heat exposure, as if something inside had burned at temperatures rivaling volcanic magma. Theories abound, from the plausible to the extraordinary. Some historians argue Derinkuyu was a refuge from climate catastrophe, a response to the late antique Little Ice Age that brought famine and chaos to the 6th century Mediterranean. Others point to ancient texts describing celestial firestorms, suggesting the builders feared not just human enemies, but something falling from the sky. Then there's the unsettling silence of the artifacts. Unlike other underground cities, Derinkuyu yielded almost no personal belongings. No jewelry, no tools, no records of who lived here or why they fled. It's as if the occupants left in a hurry, taking only what they could carry and sealing the rest away forever. Today, the deepest tunnels remain off limits, not for lack of curiosity, but because the Turkish government fears destabilizing the fragile rock. Perhaps that's for the best. Some doors once opened can't be closed again, and Derinkuyu's deepest shadows might just hold answers we're not ready to face, a blueprint for survival from a civilization that knew something we don't. Until then, the underground city waits, its darkest chambers humming with the echo of a question. What were they so afraid of? Beneath the towering columns of Luxor Temple, where the golden light of sunset still seems to hum with the chants of long-vanished priests, lies a puzzle carved in stone. While tourists marvel at the colossal statues of Ramses II and the hieroglyphs telling tales of gods and pharaohs, few realize that the true secrets of this sacred site may lie beneath their feet. Hidden passages snake through the bedrock, their entrances obscured by millennia of sand and symbolism. Some corridors, like the one leading to the temple's so-called birth room, have been partially explored, but others remain stubbornly sealed, their contents known only through cryptic inscriptions and the whispers of local guides. What rituals unfolded in these subterranean chambers, and why, in an age of satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar, do they cling to their mysteries so fiercely? The clues are etched into the temple's very design. Luxor wasn't just a place of worship, It was a stage for transformation. Every year during the Opet festival, statues of the gods were carried in procession from Karnak to Luxor along an avenue lined with sphinxes, a journey symbolizing renewal and rebirth. But some scholars believe the public spectacle was just the surface layer of a deeper, more secretive tradition. Beneath the temple, narrow staircases descend into darkness, their walls adorned with reliefs showing pharaohs being anointed by deities. These images suggest initiation rites, moments where the mortal and divine realms blurred. Yet the chambers where these rituals likely occurred, spaces referred to in texts as the Hall of Hidden Faces, have never been fully mapped. Part of the challenge lies in the temple's delicate state. Unlike the dry, stable passages beneath the Giza Plateau, Luxor's underground spaces are prone to flooding from the nearby Nile. Moisture has warped doorways and eroded inscriptions, leaving archaeologists to piece together fragments of the past. Then there's the matter of access. Many tunnels were deliberately blocked, not with rubble but with carefully fitted stones bearing the seals of priests. In the 1980s, a team using seismic equipment detected a void behind one such wall, a chamber roughly the size of a small chapel. But permission to excavate was denied. The reason? Fears that disturbing the space could destabilize the temple's foundations, or worse, violate cultural taboos still held by modern Egyptian custodians. The most intriguing hints come from a handful of artifacts recovered near these sealed passages. Among them is a ceremonial dagger, its blade inscribed with a phrase that translates to the key of the Twilight Gate. Nearby, a fragment of papyrus describes a ritual where initiates drank a sacred brew and were led downward into the place of seeing. Similar accounts appear in the writings of Greek historians like Herodotus, who claimed Egyptian priests could walk with the gods in hidden chambers beneath their temples. Were these metaphors or literal descriptions of hallucinogenic rites conducted in Luxor's depths? The answer might lie behind those still sealed doors. Modern technology offers tantalizing glimpses. Thermal scans conducted in 2019 revealed temperature fluctuations along the temple's western wall, hinting at hollow spaces behind the stone. Even more compelling are recent radar images showing geometric anomalies, right angles where nature rarely creates them. Yet the full truth remains just out of reach, guarded by time, tradition, and the fragile legacy of a civilization that mastered the art of hiding its most sacred truths in plain sight. Luxor's underground whispers a challenge to our modern certainty. Some knowledge wasn't meant to be uncovered with scanners and shovels, but earned through patience, respect, and perhaps a willingness to listen to the echoes of those who once walked these shadowed halls. The Ellora caves stretch across the basalt cliffs of Maharashtra like a stone tapestry, 34 temples carved not just into the rock but through it, a labyrinth of devotion that took 5 centuries to complete. While visitors marvel at the towering Kailasa temple, chiseled from a single mountainside, few realize the true complexity lies beneath their feet. A network of tunnels weaves between the caves, some wide enough for processions, others so narrow they require crawling. Modern archaeologists have mapped only a fraction of these passages, leaving the rest to speculation and local legend. What purpose did these hidden arteries serve in a place already brimming with sacred spaces? And how did artisans working over 1,000 years ago achieve such precision without modern tools or blueprints? One theory points to practicality. The tunnels may have served as escape routes during invasions or monsoon floods, allowing priests and pilgrims to move unseen between caves. Evidence supports this. Some passages connect to natural water channels, suggesting an understanding of hydrology that borders on prophetic. But other tunnels defy utilitarian explanation. Certain shafts angle sharply upward, terminating in dead ends with ceilings carved to amplify sound. Whisper a prayer in these chambers, and your voice ripples through the stone like a chorus of ghosts. Then there's the unsettling perfection of the tunnel's dimensions. Despite lacking standardized measuring tools, the builders maintained near-identical widths and heights across hundreds of feet, a feat that would challenge even laser-guided engineers today. The spiritual significance runs deeper. Hindu texts describe the Ellora complex as a physical manifestation of Mount Kailash, the abode of Shiva. If the visible temples represent the mountain's peak, could the tunnels mirror the hidden roots of the cosmos? Some passages align with celestial events. During the equinoxes, sunlight pierces specific tunnels to illuminate statues of deities at precise moments. Others feature carvings of Nagas, serpentine guardians of underground treasures, their eyes inlaid with gems that still catch the light after centuries. Most intriguing are the sealed chambers. Ground-penetrating radar has detected voids behind walls in Cave 29, their contents unknown. Local priests speak of a room of mirrors, where polished metal surfaces create infinite reflections, a ritual space designed to dissolve the boundary between self and divine. Yet the greatest enigma isn't the tunnel's existence, but their abandonment. Unlike other sacred sites, where hidden passages were reused or repurposed, Ellora's subterranean network shows signs of deliberate closure. Several entrances were bricked up with such care that the seams blend seamlessly into the rock. In 2012, archaeologists uncovered a tunnel near Cave 16 containing tools left mid-task: chisels, oil lamps, even a half-finished sculpture, as if workers vanished mid-sentence. This wasn't a gradual decline, it was a sudden, purposeful retreat. Whatever knowledge these tunnels held, the builders seemed determined to take it with them, leaving behind only echoes and the silent certainty that some thresholds weren't meant to be crossed twice. Borobudur rises from the jungles of Java like a stone mandala frozen in time, a 9-tiered monument to enlightenment, its walls lined with over 2,000 relief panels depicting the Buddha's teachings. But beneath this sprawling Buddhist masterpiece, hidden from the eyes of pilgrims and scholars alike, lie chambers sealed for over 1,000 years. Unlike the temple's upper terraces, where every carving and stupa serves as an open book of spiritual wisdom, these underground rooms were designed to resist discovery. Their existence was confirmed only in the 1980s, when seismic surveys revealed hollow spaces beneath the foundation, their entrances deliberately obscured by layers of volcanic rock and intricate masonry. What sacred relics or lost scriptures might they guard, and why go to such lengths to bury them in a structure otherwise meant to inspire awe and devotion? The clues lie in Borobudur's very architecture. The temple follows a precise cosmological blueprint, with its 3 levels symbolizing the Buddhist path from earthly desire to nirvana. Yet certain design choices defy explanation. The base platform, for instance, was originally adorned with 160 reliefs depicting the law of karma, but these were completely concealed by a later addition of stone cladding. Historians debate whether this was structural reinforcement or a form of spiritual censorship, hiding teachings deemed too esoteric for the uninitiated. Similarly, the hidden chambers align with the temple's central axis, suggesting they weren't an afterthought but a core element of its sacred geometry. Local legends speak of a golden Buddha statue buried beneath the monument, its presence said to stabilize the entire structure. Others whisper of copper plates inscribed with the lost Dharma, teachings considered too potent for public dissemination. Modern technology has only deepened the enigma. Ground-penetrating radar shows the chambers aren't small storage niches but spacious vaults, some large enough to hold ritual objects or even human remains. Thermal scans hint at metallic anomalies within possibly ceremonial caskets or inscribed metal plates like those found in other Southeast Asian Buddhist sites. Yet the Indonesian government has repeatedly denied requests to excavate, citing concerns over structural integrity and the spiritual sanctity of the site. There's an unspoken understanding here. Borobudur isn't just an archaeological treasure, it's a living place of worship. To breach these chambers without proper reverence could be seen as violating a sacred trust. Perhaps the most compelling argument against opening the chambers comes from the temple's own teachings. Buddhism emphasizes the impermanence of material form and the danger of attachment even to sacred objects. By sealing these spaces, the builders may have been making a profound statement that true enlightenment can't be found in relics or texts, but only within. The chamber's very inaccessibility becomes their purpose, a physical manifestation of the Buddha's warning against clinging to the illusion of permanence. And so they remain silent and undisturbed, their secrets echoing the paradox at the heart of all great mysteries, that sometimes the most powerful truths are those we're not meant to uncover, only to contemplate. Rome's underground whispers with more than just the footsteps of tourists shuffling through its famous Christian catacombs. Deep beneath the eternal city's bustling streets, older shadows stir tunnels carved not by early Christians, but by hands that worshipped gods long forgotten. These are the lost pagan catacombs, rumored to hold artifacts so ancient they predate Rome's conversion to Christianity by centuries. Unlike their well-mapped counterparts, these passageways refuse to give up their secrets. Their ghosts in the archaeological record, mentioned in fragments of medieval texts, hinted at in crumbling ledgers from Renaissance antiquarians, yet vanishing every time modern explorers think they've found a trail. Consider the scale of what we do know. The Christian catacombs stretch over 900 miles, a labyrinth of burial niches and faded frescoes. But scattered among them are anomalies, tunnels that branch off abruptly, their walls bearing symbols that don't align with Christian iconography. A spiral here that echoes the cult of Mithras, a carving of a serpent swallowing its tail there, hinting at Orphic mysteries. Even more telling are the construction techniques. Some sections show signs of repurposing, their original pagan markings plastered over with crosses and lambs, as if early Christians sought to reclaim or conceal what came before. Then there are the artifacts that shouldn't exist. In the 1950s, workers expanding a subway line near the baths of Caracalla uncovered a cache of bronze figurines, twisted, faceless effigies that matched no known Roman deity. The discovery was quietly catalogued and stored, but the tunnel they came from was sealed after engineers reported structural instability. Decades later, thermal scans of the same area revealed hollow spaces behind the walls, their layouts too deliberate to be natural caves. Local archivists whisper of a 16th century account describing a chamber of eyes, a room lined with terracotta masks, each one staring blankly from the walls. But like so much of Rome's subterranean lore, the trail runs cold at the edge of legend. The greatest obstacle isn't just time, it's the city itself. Rome wasn't built, it was layered. Every empire, every conquest, every disaster left its mark, burying the past under centuries of rubble and reinvention. To find the oldest tunnels, you'd need to peel back not just Earth, but history itself. Modern archaeologists face a nightmare of permits and preservation laws, where even a routine excavation can take years to approve. And then there's the water table, rising relentlessly through the centuries, flooding chambers that might have held answers. Perhaps the most tantalizing clue lies in the Pantheon. Beneath its iconic dome, hidden beneath the rotunda's marble floor, lies a sealed crypt mentioned in passing by the historian Cassius Dio. He wrote of a staircase leading down to older foundations, where priests once performed rites too secret to name. Ground-penetrating radar has indeed detected voids beneath the building, but the Vatican, which oversees the site, has never granted permission to explore further. It's a recurring theme in Rome. The past isn't just buried, it's guarded. What makes these lost catacombs so compelling isn't just what they might hide, it's what their obscurity says about history's selectivity. We know the names of emperors and popes, but the whispers of the underground cults, the midnight rituals in torchlit tunnels, the gods whose names were erased, those stories belong to the shadows. And Rome, ever the keeper of secrets, seems determined to let them stay there. Machu Picchu perches atop the Andes like a crown of stone, its terraced slopes and temples a testament to the Inca's architectural genius. But beneath this iconic citadel, hidden from the eyes of millions who trek its paths every year, lies a mystery only modern technology has begun to uncover. Recent LiDAR scans have pierced the dense jungle canopy and the very earth itself, revealing anomalies, voids, and geometric shapes too precise to be natural formations. These aren't mere cracks in the bedrock or collapsed tunnels. They're chambers deliberately carved and sealed, their purpose as enigmatic as the citadel's sudden abandonment. Were these spaces sacred vaults for royal mummies, storage for treasures plundered by conquistadors, or ceremonial theaters where the Inca communed with their gods? The answer might rewrite our understanding of this mountaintop sanctuary. What makes these hidden chambers so compelling is the Inca's unparalleled skill with stone. Unlike other ancient cultures that relied on mortar or filler, the Inca shaped massive boulders with such precision that their joints fit seamlessly, defying even a razor blade's edge. At sites like Sacsayhuaman, their stonework borders on the supernatural blocks, weighing hundreds of tons locked together like a three-dimensional puzzle. If they could move mountains, why not hollow them out? Some of the voids detected beneath Machu Picchu align perfectly with surface structures, suggesting an intentional mirroring of the visible and invisible worlds. The Temple of the Sun, for instance, sits directly above one of the largest cavities, its curved walls echoing the chamber's shape below. Was this duality part of the Inca's cosmology, a physical manifestation of their belief in complementary realms? Then there's the haunting question of access. Unlike Egyptian pyramids or Mayan temples, where hidden passages often feature grand entrances or symbolic thresholds, Machu Picchu's subterranean spaces show no obvious entry points. Scans reveal narrow shafts, some just wide enough for a single person to descend, their openings concealed beneath flagstones or disguised as natural rock formations. This wasn't careless concealment, it was artistry. The Inca didn't just hide these chambers, they camouflaged them, integrating them so flawlessly into the landscape that even their own people might have needed precise knowledge to find them. Local Quechua elders speak of chincanas, legendary tunnels said to connect Machu Picchu to other sacred sites like Cusco or the mythical Paititi. While most archaeologists dismiss these stories as folklore, the LiDAR data raises an unsettling possibility. What if the legends hold fragments of truth? The most tantalizing clue lies in the chamber's contents, or rather, the lack thereof. Ground-penetrating radar has detected metallic deposits within some voids, possibly ritual offerings or ceremonial objects. Yet the largest chamber, nestled beneath the Intihuatana stone, the so-called hitching post of the sun, appears utterly empty. This absence might be the greatest mystery of all. The Inca revered the Intihuatana as a solar clock and spiritual anchor, a device to tie the sun during solstices. If the chamber below was designed to amplify its power, why leave it vacant? Unless the void itself was the purpose, a sacred negative space, a literal underworld to balance the celestial forces above. Machu Picchu's hidden depths challenge our obsession with material discovery. Sometimes the most profound secrets aren't objects but intentions. The Inca didn't just build a city on a mountain. They wove their beliefs into its very bones, from the sunlit temples to the shadowed chambers beneath. And until we learn to listen to those stones as they did, not just with scanners, but with reverence, their full story may remain as elusive as the mist that curls through these ancient peaks. Lalibela's churches don't just stand on the earth, they emerge from it, as if the very ground had parted to reveal something sacred. Carved entirely from living rock in the 12th century, these 11 medieval marvels are often called the eighth wonder of the world. But their true wonder lies beneath the surface. Hidden tunnels and drainage channels weave between the churches like veins, some wide enough for processions, others so narrow they force pilgrims to crawl, a physical act of humility before reaching the light. The most tantalizing passages, though, remain sealed. Local clergy speak of chambers beneath Bete Mariam, the Church of Mary, where ancient manuscripts and golden crosses are said to rest. Yet even with modern tools, these spaces resist exploration, their entrances blocked not just by stone, but by centuries of unbroken tradition. What sets Lalibela apart isn't just the engineering, it's the intention. King Lalibela, the site's visionary, didn't merely commission these churches. He's said to have designed them with celestial guidance. According to legend, angels continued the carving each night after workers retired. The tunnels then weren't just functional, they were symbolic. Some align with the rising sun during major feast days, illuminating hidden carvings of saints only at specific times. Others descend sharply, their walls etched with crosses that glow faintly when oil lamps flicker. A deliberate play of light and shadow meant to evoke the journey from darkness to revelation. Even the drainage system defies practicality. Channels cut beneath Bete Georgis, the iconic cross-shaped church, don't just divert water, they create harmonic echoes, transforming rainfall into a ghostly choir. This wasn't infrastructure, it was sacred theater. The inaccessible chambers deepened the enigma. In 2016, thermal scans beneath Bete Amanul revealed a void with geometric precision, its dimensions matching the Treasury of Zion, described in Ethiopian royal chronicles, a repository for artifacts supposedly smuggled from Jerusalem before its fall. Yet attempts to investigate were halted by the Orthodox clergy, who guard Lalibela's secrets as fiercely as its rituals. Their reluctance isn't just about preservation, it's about protocol. In Ethiopian tradition, some spaces are only opened during Timkat, the Epiphany celebration, when replicas of the Ark of the Covenant are paraded through the tunnels. To breach them prematurely isn't just disrespectful, it's spiritually perilous. Perhaps the most haunting clue lies in the church's very rock. The volcanic tuff is soft when first exposed, hardening only with time and air. This allowed builders to carve with almost supernatural precision, but it also means the deepest tunnels remain fragile. Modern tools risk collapsing what faith has preserved. And so the underground network endures as both map and metaphor, a labyrinth where history, devotion, and mystery intersect. The tunnels whisper a truth Lalibela's monks have long understood. Some paths aren't meant to be fully walked, only reverenced. Their purpose isn't to lead us to answers, but to remind us that wonder, too, is a form of knowing. Beneath the temple of the inscriptions in Palenque, where the jungle hums with the ghosts of the Maya, a secret lies submerged, a water-filled tunnel winding deep into the earth, its endpoint shrouded in shadow. This isn't just any passage. It's believed to be the final threshold to the tomb of King Pakal the Great, the ruler whose elaborate sarcophagus lid famously sparked wild theories about ancient astronauts. But unlike the treasures of Egypt or the vaults of Angkor Wat, This watery corridor remains stubbornly unexplored, its secrets preserved by a combination of reverence, logistical nightmares, and something far more intriguing: the Maya's sacred relationship with the underworld. The tunnel's existence was confirmed in 2016 when archaeologists using sonar technology detected a labyrinth beneath the temple, its walls echoing with the sound of rushing water. The discovery sent shockwaves through the academic world. Pakal's tomb had already been found in the 1950s, resting high within the pyramid. But this submerged passage suggests something far more profound, that the tomb we know might just be the beginning. The tunnel, aligned with celestial precision, mirrors the Mayan concept of Xibalba, the watery, 9-layered underworld where souls journeyed after death. To the Maya, water wasn't just an element, it was a boundary between worlds, a sacred barrier protecting the dead from the living. Pumping it out wouldn't just be technically challenging, it could be tantamount to desecration. Then there's the engineering marvel itself. The tunnel isn't a natural fissure, it's a meticulously carved channel, its floor lined with stone channels to control water flow. Some sections narrow abruptly, forcing would-be explorers to navigate twists and turns in near-total darkness, a feature that feels less like poor planning and more like a deliberate deterrent. Even more telling are the artifacts glimpsed in early sonar scans, ceramic fragments and jade beads scattered along the tunnel's path, as if left as offerings to appease whatever or whoever lay beyond. The greatest mystery, though, isn't the tunnel's construction, but its silence. Despite the potential for groundbreaking discoveries, no full-scale excavation has been attempted. Part of this is practical. The water table here is unpredictable, and the fragile limestone structure could collapse if drained, but the hesitation runs deeper. Local Maya descendants who still guard the spiritual legacy of Palinque speak of the tunnel as the breath of the earth, a living entity that shouldn't be disturbed. Archaeologists, wary of repeating colonial mistakes, increasingly heed these warnings. After all, Pakal's sarcophagus lid, misinterpreted for decades as a spacecraft, taught a humbling lesson. Sometimes the past refuses to fit neatly into modern narratives. Perhaps the tunnel's true purpose isn't to hide a tomb, but to preserve an idea. The Maya saw death not as an end, but as a voyage, one that required preparation, reverence, and the right passageways. By leaving this corridor submerged, they ensured their king's journey would remain uninterrupted, his connection to Xibalba unbroken. And so the water remains a mirror reflecting not just our curiosity, but the limits of our understanding. Some doors, it seems, weren't meant to be opened, only respected. Deep beneath the ruins of Hatusa, the ancient Hittite capital, lies a network of forbidden crypts that have defied explorers for centuries. These underground chambers, carved from the Anatolian bedrock with astonishing precision, aren't just hidden, they're actively guarded. Local villagers speak of eerie sounds echoing from the earth at night, while archaeologists whisper of bureaucratic barriers and unexplained accidents halting every major attempt to explore them. One chamber in particular, known as the Treaty Vault, is rumored to house clay tablets inscribed with lost diplomatic agreements, documents that could rewrite our understanding of Bronze Age geopolitics. But why have these crypts remained sealed, even as technology gives us the tools to uncover them? The Hittites were master diplomats, their empire stretching across modern-day Turkey and Syria at the height of their power. Their capital, Hatusa, was a fortress of knowledge, its libraries filled with cuneiform tablets detailing everything from legal codes to rituals for summoning storms. Yet the most sensitive records, treaties with rival kingdoms, secret alliances, perhaps even evidence of forgotten wars, were said to be stored underground, accessible only to the king and his highest priests. The crypt's construction hints at paranoia worthy of a spy thriller. False passages lead to dead ends, while hidden channels in the walls suggest a primitive but effective alarm system. Disturbed air currents would trigger whistling sounds, alerting guards to intruders. Even today, these features make modern mapping tools unreliable, sending drones and robotic probes spinning in circles. Then there's the matter of the curses. Hittite texts recovered from other sites describe elaborate divine punishments for those who violated sealed spaces. One tablet, now in the Istanbul Archaeological Museum, warns of the god's breath turning men to stone for trespassing in sacred vaults. Whether metaphorical or literal, the warning seems to have stuck. In 1986, a team funded by a German university abandoned their excavation after a series of equipment failures and a bizarre rockfall that blocked their path without visible cause. Workers refused to return, citing nightmares of black figures standing in the tunnels. The site's current custodians, wary of both supernatural lore and political fallout, have since restricted access to all but the most conservative surveys. What makes these crypts so tantalizing isn't just their contents, it's their context. The Hittites vanished abruptly around 1200 BCE, their empire collapsing amid a wave of mysterious invasions and climate disasters. The Treaty Vault could hold clues to their downfall, perhaps even evidence of a desperate plea for help sent to allies who never answered. Ground-penetrating radar has detected metallic objects in one chamber, possibly the golden seals once attached to diplomatic scrolls. Another void appears to contain rows of clay jars, their shapes consistent with those used to store royal archives. Yet without physical exploration, these glimpses remain frustratingly vague. The greatest barrier might be cultural rather than physical. For modern Turkey, Hatusa isn't just an archaeological site, it's a symbol of national heritage. The idea of foreign teams digging for treasure rankles officials, who point to centuries of artifacts smuggled abroad. Meanwhile, local folklore insists the crypts guard more than old treaties. Some legends describe a stone that speaks, a relic capable of channeling the voices of Hittite gods. Others warn of a trapped wind, a primordial force sealed beneath the city by ancient priests. Whether myth or metaphor, these stories underscore a truth archaeologists are beginning to respect. Some doors stay closed not because we lack the tools to open them, but because the past demands a key we haven't earned. Until then, the Crypts of Hatusa remain a silent challenge, their secrets coiled in the dark like the twin serpents of the Hittite storm god, waiting, watching, and keeping their own counsel. The citadel of Mycenae crouches on its sun-baked hill like a lion guarding its prey, its cyclopean walls whispering of a time when kings walked as gods and gold flowed like water. But beneath these towering stones, where tourists tread the same flagstones once crossed by Agamemnon and Clytemnestra, the earth holds its breath. Here, hidden beneath the Lion Gate and the so-called Treasury of Atreus, lie sealed chambers that have resisted exploration for centuries, not for lack of trying, but because the Mycenaeans built their secrets to last. These aren't just forgotten storerooms, they're time capsules from the dawn of Greek civilization, their contents shielded by layers of myth, engineering, and something far more intriguing, deliberate, almost ritualistic concealment. Take the Treasury of Atreus, that soaring beehive tomb whose very name is a misdirection. Though long plundered, its walls still hum with unanswered questions. In 2018, thermal scans revealed anomalies in the bedrock beneath its floor hollow, spaces too geometrically precise to be natural. One chamber aligns perfectly with the tomb's axis, suggesting it wasn't an afterthought but a core element of the design. Local archaeologists whisper of a second, deeper vault, possibly a sister tomb, mentioned in fragmentary Linear B tablets as the Golden Pit. but the Mycenaeans, masters of misdirection, left no obvious entrance. The walls are seamless, the thresholds invisible. Even modern ground-penetrating radar struggles to map the full extent, blocked by layers of schist and clay that seem almost deliberately chosen to scatter signals. Then there's the matter of the artifacts that have slipped through the cracks. In the shadowed corners of the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, a handful of gold leaf fragments and shattered pottery shards tell a fractured story. These weren't random trinkets, they bore inscriptions in Linear B, the script of the Mycenaean elite. One particularly enigmatic piece, catalogued as Object Theta, depicts a procession of figures carrying something resembling a solar disk, an image eerily similar to descriptions of Agamemnon's legendary Golden Death Mask. But here's the twist: the mask we call Agamemnon's, discovered by Schliemann in 1876, was found in a different tomb entirely. Could the real mask, along with other regalia of the King of Kings, still lie hidden in these sealed chambers? The Mycenaeans didn't just bury their dead, they buried their truths. Unlike the Egyptians, who decorated tombs with explicit guides to the afterlife, Mycenaean burial chambers are stark, their walls bare but for the occasional spiral or meander pattern. This wasn't artistic poverty, it was a language of silence. Recent studies of the underground acoustics reveal something astonishing. Certain chambers, when struck with a drum, produce resonant frequencies that mimic the tones of ancient Mycenaean lyres. Was sound the key? Did priests or mourners use specific vibrations to awaken hidden doors, much like the mythical voice locks described in Homer's epics? Modern technology teases us with glimpses. Muon tomography, a technique that uses cosmic rays to map dense structures, has detected metallic concentrations beneath the citadel's northeast sector, possibly the remnants of a royal armory or the fabled bronze-walled treasure house mentioned in Pausanias's travelogues. Yet every attempt to physically access these spaces meets resistance, both literal and cultural. The Greek Ministry of Culture has halted excavations, citing the fragility of the site and the need for non-invasive methods. Some locals, heirs to oral traditions stretching back millennia, speak of guardian spirits and sleeping curses. Whether myth or metaphor, their warnings underscore a truth archaeologists are beginning to respect. At Mycenae, the past doesn't just sleep, it watches. Perhaps the greatest mystery isn't what these chambers contain, but why they were sealed with such finality. The Mycenaean collapse around 1200 BC remains one of history's great enigmas, with theories ranging from climate catastrophe to invasion. Did their last rulers bury their most sacred objects to protect them from marauders, or to ensure they'd never be used again? The answer might lie in those unopened vaults, waiting for the day when we learn to listen not just with scanners, but with the patience the ancients demanded. Until then, Mycenae's deepest secrets remain coiled in the dark, like the serpents that writhe across its broken frescoes, silent, vigilant, and utterly untamed. Tiahuanaco sprawls across Bolivia's high-altitude plains like a riddle carved in stone, a city so ancient, even the Inca called it the birthplace of civilization. But the real mystery doesn't lie in its towering gate of the sun or its enigmatic monoliths. It's beneath your feet, deep below the ruins. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed a network of hollow spaces, their geometric precision defying the idea that this was just another archaeological site. These chambers aren't random gaps in the earth. Their walls align with celestial events, their entrances hidden beneath layers of deliberately placed gravel. Why would a culture that left no written record go to such lengths to bury its secrets? And why, in an age of satellite imaging and AI-assisted archaeology, do these voids remain untouched? The answer begins with the sheer audacity of Tiahuanaco's builders. This wasn't just a settlement, it was a cosmological machine. Surface structures align with solstices and equinoxes with near impossible accuracy, while carvings depict complex astronomical knowledge, including a zodiac that predates European versions by millennia. The underground chambers mirror this precision. Seismic surveys show they're clustered around the site's sacred axis, some positioned to amplify specific sound frequencies. Local Aymara elders speak of cholpas, spirits said to guard subterranean knowledge, and modern researchers have recorded eerie acoustic anomalies in the area, low-frequency hums with no discernible source. Could these spaces have been resonance chambers designed to harness vibrations for rituals or even engineering purposes? The theory isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Similar acoustic techniques were used in Malta's Hypogeum and Greece's Oracle of Delphi, where sound altered consciousness during sacred rites, yet the chamber's potential extends beyond the spiritual. Tiahuanaco's builders moved stones weighing hundreds of tons without wheels or draft animals, fitting them together with joints so precise they resist a razor blade. How a tantalizing clue emerged in 2019, when a team from the University of Pennsylvania discovered traces of an unknown metallic compound in soil samples taken near one suspected chamber entrance. The alloy's composition, a blend of copper, arsenic, and an unidentifiable third element, matches nothing in the archaeological record. Some researchers speculated could have been used to soften stone, a technique described in Inca legends but never proven. Others suggest it might be remnants of tools or even structural reinforcements for hidden vaults. Without excavation, we're left with maddening fragments, a puzzle missing its centerpiece. The reluctance to dig deeper isn't just about funding or logistics. Tiahuanaco sits at the heart of Aymara cosmology, and many indigenous communities view the site as a living entity, not a relic to be dissected. In 2014, a proposed excavation was halted after elders warned of disturbing Pachamama's bones, a reference to the earth goddess. Even modern archaeologists tread carefully, aware that some chambers might hold organic materials, textiles, wooden artifacts, or even mummies that could disintegrate if exposed to the Altiplano's thin, oxygen-rich air. There's also the political dimension. Bolivia's government fiercely guards Tiahuanaco's heritage, wary of repeating colonial-era exploitation. Permits for invasive research are rare, and foreign teams face layers of oversight. What makes these chambers so electrifying isn't just what they might hide, it's what they represent. Tiahuanaco thrived at 12,000 feet, where crops barely grow today, yet its builders engineered raised fields that yielded bumper harvests. They tracked celestial cycles without telescopes, built earthquake-proof structures without mortar, and perhaps even mastered metallurgy ahead of their time. If their surface achievements baffle us, what paradigm-shifting knowledge might lie sealed below? A library of knotted chords like the Inca's kippus, a map of the stars calibrated to an epoch we've forgotten. Or something more profound, a technology or wisdom so advanced, it was buried not to hide it from enemies but from the future itself. For now, the chambers keep their secrets. The ground hums faintly underfoot, the radar maps glow with tantalizing voids, and the stones stand silent. Tiahuanaco's greatest lesson might be patience, a reminder that some truths unfold not on our schedules but on histories. And that weight, that aching not knowing, is part of the mystery's power. The Temple of Seti I at Abydos doesn't just stand as a monument to Egypt's new kingdom glory. It guards a secret that could rewrite the history of human ingenuity. Beneath its meticulously carved reliefs, where gods and pharaohs stare eternally from the walls, lies a labyrinth of chambers so restricted that even seasoned archaeologists need military-level clearance to enter. These aren't mere storage rooms or forgotten crypts. Scans reveal walls lined with strange, grid-like patterns unlike any known hieroglyphs, and fragments of an unknown alloy recovered from nearby shafts hint at metallurgical knowledge that shouldn't exist in 1300 BC. What makes these spaces so sensitive, and why, in an era where we've mapped the pyramids with cosmic rays, does this temple keep its deepest secrets under lock and key? One theory points to the temple's most infamous enigma, the so-called helicopter hieroglyphs. High on a ceiling beam, a peculiar carving resembles modern aircraft, a detail that's fueled wild speculation for decades. But the real intrigue lies beneath that spot, where ground-penetrating radar detected a chamber directly aligned with the carving. Its contents remain unknown, but the few who have glimpsed interior scans describe something even more puzzling. Concentric circles etched into the floor, intersecting with precision that suggests advanced geometric understanding. Were these early blueprints sacred diagrams, or something more practical like prototypes for tools or machines lost to time? The Egyptian Antiquities Ministry's silence only amplifies the mystery. Unlike other restricted sites where research delays are blamed on bureaucracy or preservation concerns, Abydos's off-limits status comes with a rare admission. Some discoveries, they claim, aren't just culturally sensitive, they're conceptually disruptive. Then there's the matter of the temple's construction. Seti I's architects achieved near-perfect acoustics in the outer halls, where chanting reverberates at frequencies known to alter brainwave patterns. But the hidden chambers take this further. Early seismic testing revealed hollow spaces with walls angled to amplify specific tones, a feature seen in Malta's Hypogeum, but never before in Egypt. Even stranger are the copper traces found in the stone joints, a detail that matches descriptions in the Book of the Dead, where the gods seal doors with heavenly metal. Could these chambers have been ritual spaces where sound and metallurgy merge to create experiences we're only beginning to comprehend? The greatest barrier to answers isn't just political caution, it's the chamber's physical defenses. Unlike Tutankhamun's tomb, whose treasures lay behind plaster and stone, Abydos's underground network includes something unprecedented: a black resin coating the walls of its deepest vault, a substance that defies chemical analysis. Attempts to sample it have failed, drills blunt against its surface, and lasers scatter unpredictably. Local workers whisper that the resin isn't man-made at all, but a divine secretion mentioned in temple texts as the blood of Osiris. Scientists scoff, yet no lab has replicated its properties. Whatever its origin, the effect is clear. These chambers were meant to endure, not just for centuries, but for millennia. Perhaps the most haunting clue lies in the temple's astronomical alignments. While most Egyptian temples track the sun or Sirius, Seti I's hidden chambers align with Orion's belt, but only during a brief window in late July when the Nile's floodwaters traditionally peak. This timing wasn't just symbolic. Ancient texts speak of the opening of the mouth ceremony, where priests used instruments of the northern stars to awaken divine statues. Could these sealed rooms have housed such devices? The few authorized researchers note an eerie detail. The chamber's temperature fluctuates dramatically during Orion's alignment, as if responding to celestial rhythms. For now, the temple's depths remain a riddle wrapped in stone and silence. But the longer these chambers resist exploration, the louder their unspoken question grows. What could be so revolutionary, so fundamentally world-altering, that even in the 21st century we're not deemed ready to know? The answer might lie not in the artifacts these walls conceal, but in the realization they force upon us that ancient innovation may have been far stranger, far more sophisticated than our textbooks dare suggest. And until those doors finally open, we're left staring at the threshold, wondering what truths or terrors sleep beneath the sand. The Temple of Artemis at Ephesus was more than just a marvel of the ancient world. It was a beacon of devotion, its marble columns towering over the Aegean coast like a forest of polished ivory. But beneath the scattered ruins that remain today, where tourists tread on broken stones and faded mosaics, whispers persist of something far grander still hidden. Unlike other wonders of antiquity, Artemis's temple wasn't just destroyed, it was systematically dismantled, its treasures looted, its altars defiled. Yet the most precious relics might have escaped the ravages of time, not by being carried away, but by being buried. Ancient texts hint at subterranean chambers designed to safeguard the temple's most sacred objects, spaces so well concealed that even the conquering Goths who sacked Ephesus in the 3rd century may have missed them entirely. Consider the temple's unique role in the ancient world. This wasn't just a house of worship, it was a bank, a sanctuary, and a repository for gifts from kings and emperors. Croesus of Lydia donated columns dripping with gold, while Alexander the Great offered priceless jewels. Where did these treasures go when the temple fell? Historians assume they were melted down or scattered, but a handful of clues suggest otherwise. A 1st century inscription discovered nearby references the under sanctuary, a place where the unseeable gifts of the goddess were stored. Even more telling are the accounts of early Christian chroniclers who wrote of priests fleeing into hidden tunnels as invaders stormed the temple above, carrying what could not be left to profane hands. Modern technology has begun to peel back the layers of this mystery. Ground-penetrating radar surveys in 2019 revealed anomalies beneath the temple's foundation, rectangular voids that don't match known drainage systems or construction trenches. One chamber, positioned directly beneath where the cult statue of Artemis once stood, shows signs of deliberate reinforcement, its walls lined with a thick layer of compacted clay and crushed pottery to repel groundwater. The arrangement echoes descriptions of subterranean treasuries in other Greek temples, where sacred texts and votive offerings were sealed in airtight ceramic jars. But Ephesus adds a tantalizing twist. The radar also detected metallic deposits clustered in one corner, their density consistent with gold or silver artifacts. The greatest enigma isn't just what these chambers might hold, but why they've resisted exploration for so long. Unlike the pyramids or Angkor Wat, where politics or fragile structures hinder excavation, the Temple of Artemis lies in a modern archaeological zone with few restrictions. The answer may lie in the very nature of the site. Ephesus wasn't just abandoned, it was buried by centuries of silt from the Casta River, its ruins swallowed by layers of mud and marsh. To reach the deepest chambers would require dismantling later Roman and Byzantine structures built atop the temple, a trade-off preservationists are reluctant to make. There's also the matter of the water table, which has risen dramatically since antiquity, turning potential vaults into submerged crypts. Local legends add another layer of intrigue. Villagers in nearby Selçuk still speak of a blue light seen flickering beneath the temple ruins on moonless nights, a phenomenon some attribute to reflections of buried metal, while others insist it's the restless spirit of Artemis herself. More concrete are the accounts of Ottoman-era treasure hunters who claim to have found a sealed tunnel entrance in the 1800s, only to abandon it after their tools struck something that emitted a sound like wailing. Whether superstition or coincidence, these stories underscore a truth archaeologists are beginning to respect. Some secrets aren't just hidden, they're guarded. Perhaps the most compelling case for the chamber's existence comes from an unexpected source: the temple's own builders. Ephesian architects were masters of hydraulic engineering, designing a complex system to stabilize the marshy ground beneath the temple's massive weight. If they could control water to support a structure, could they not also weaponize it to protect one? A recently deciphered Greek text describes a mechanism where the earth drinks what is given to it, a possible reference to floodable chambers designed to deter thieves. It's a chilling thought that the temple's greatest treasures might still lie preserved in watertight darkness, waiting for the day when technology and respect for the past align to reveal them. Until then, the legacy of Artemis endures not in her scattered stones, but in the silent spaces beneath them where the past holds its breath. We've sent rovers to Mars and decoded the human genome, yet the most tantalizing secrets of our own planet remain locked away not by distance but by deliberate design. Hidden chambers beneath ancient temples continue to defy exploration, not because we lack the tools to find them, but because the barriers guarding them are as much philosophical as they are physical. Modern technology can map voids with cosmic rays and peer through stone with ground-penetrating radar, but these advances only highlight the paradox. The better we see, the more we realize how much is still out of reach. Take the ethical tightrope of structural risk. In Egypt's Valley of the Kings, robotic cameras have snaked through narrow shafts to reveal sealed doorways, only to halt when the slightest disturbance could collapse fragile paintings untouched for millennia. At Chichen Itza, where LiDAR uncovered a submerged chamber beneath El Castillo, archaeologists face a nightmare choice: drain the sacred cenote and risk destabilizing the pyramid above, or leave the water undisturbed and never know what relics lie in the dark. It's a cruel irony that the same precision engineering that built these spaces now makes them nearly impossible to enter. The Maya, for instance, used interlocking stones that shift under pressure, creating a sort of ancient security system. Drill into one chamber and an entire corridor might fold like a house of cards. Then there's the weight of cultural reverence. In Ethiopia's Lalibela, where priests guard underground churches carved from solid rock, thermal scans have detected vaults possibly holding priceless manuscripts. But local tradition dictates only the pure of heart may enter, a boundary no government dare cross. Similar taboos echo worldwide. The Navajo Nation restricts scans of ancestral sites, while Balinese temples forbid ground-penetrating radar entirely, believing it disturbs the Niskala, the unseen realm. Even when science could safely explore, the question remains, should it? The backlash over the 2019 Notre Dame fire proved how quickly public sentiment can turn when technology is seen as trampling heritage. Yet the most intriguing barriers aren't made of stone or tradition. They're woven into the fabric of human curiosity itself. Consider the ghost chambers detected beneath Turkey's Mount Nemrut. Radar shows voids consistent with royal tombs, but local legends warn of a sleeping army cursed to guard them. When a team tried to excavate in 2007, equipment failures and worker injuries halted progress. A pattern repeated at sites from Bolivia's Tiwanaku to Japan's Mount Asor. Skeptics blame seismic activity or methane leaks, but the effect is the same. These spaces resist intrusion with an almost uncanny persistence. The future of exploration may lie in compromise. In Peru, archaeologists now partner with Quechua elders to ask permission of sacred sites before scanning, blending LiDAR with ritual. Meanwhile, non-invasive tech like muon tomography, which uses cosmic rays to create X-ray-like images of dense structures, could soon map chambers without breaking seals. But even these advances can't answer the deeper question: do we seek these secrets to preserve history or to conquer it? The temples whisper back with their silence, reminding us that some doors stay closed not because they're impossible to open, but because they demand a key we've yet to forge, one made of equal parts humility and wonder. From the towering pyramids of Giza to the jungle-shrouded temples of Angkor Wat, these hidden chambers aren't just architectural quirks, They're time capsules deliberately sealed by civilizations who understood the weight of their own legacy. Think about it, these weren't careless oversights or forgotten storage rooms. The precision with which they were concealed, whether through 1,000-ton stone doors, labyrinthine tunnels, or even toxic barriers like mercury-lined passages, speaks to intentionality. The builders didn't just want these spaces to last, they wanted them to resist, and that's what makes these chambers so electrifying. They're not passive relics, they're active puzzles, challenging us across millennia to prove we're worthy of their secrets. Consider how little we still understand. The Great Pyramid's hidden void, detected by cosmic rays but still untouched, mocks our supposed technological mastery. The submerged tunnels beneath Palenque, echoing with the whispers of Mayan rituals, refuse to yield to pumps and probes. Even in Turkey's Derinkuyu, where an entire underground city lies exposed, the deepest chambers remain sealed, their contents guarded by a mix of crumbling rock and unshakable local law. It's as if the past is testing us, demanding more than just brute force excavation. Maybe the answers aren't in the chambers themselves, but in the patience and humility required to reach them. What's equally fascinating is how these mysteries transcend geography and culture. From the copper-clad doors of India's Padmanabhaswamy temple to the echoing oracle chambers of Malta, the same themes emerge: sacred knowledge, divine warnings, and a reverence for boundaries. The ancients didn't just hide things, they encoded them in myth, aligned them with stars, and sometimes, like at Gobekli Tepe, buried them so completely that rediscovery feels like stumbling upon a whispered confession. These weren't acts of fear, but of profound respect. Some truths they seemed to believe weren't meant for every era, only those ready to grasp their significance. Technology will inevitably push forward. Muon tomography, AI-assisted deciphering of scripts like Rongorongo, even quantum sensors that could map chambers without disturbing a single grain of sand. All these tools promise breakthroughs. But the real question isn't how we'll uncover these secrets, it's why they were hidden in the first place. Were they protecting relics too powerful for the uninitiated, safeguarding knowledge that could destabilize empires, or simply leaving behind a testament to their ingenuity, knowing future generations would marvel at the challenge? For now, these chambers remain frozen between discovery and myth, their silence louder than any revelation. They remind us that history isn't a puzzle to be solved, but a conversation, one where the past gets to set the terms. So tell us, what do you believe lies behind these sealed doors? A forgotten technology, a spiritual revelation, or something beyond our modern imagination? The comments are open, and the mystery is yours to unravel. And if you're hungry for more ancient enigmas, hit that subscribe button, because the world's greatest secrets are still waiting.